Hello, all you risk takers and truth seekers. Welcome to Life the Battlefield, where we explore the front lines of life's biggest challenges and victories. Today, we have incredible guest. Her name is SABINA SULOVSKY, who is a well-being and performance coach. And we will be discussing a topic close to my heart, men's mental health. Needless to say, the month of June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Let's dive in. Hello, all of you risk takers and truth seekers to podcast Life the Battlefield, where we explore the front lines of the life's biggest challenges and victories. So let's dive in. SABINA, welcome to the studio, Life the Battlefield.
Thank you, Mario. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, SABINA. Look, I want to talk today with something which is really, really close to my heart. And I love talking to the people who are experts like yourself. Before we dive in, I just want to say you are true, real deal. And I'm truly thankful that you're coming across 2.3 million viewers on YouTube channel, almost over 100,000 people watching this podcast. Let's go talk about very depressing topic. Nobody can help, mental health. So, first of all, let's go introduce you to audience. Who is SABINA SULOVSKY?
So, SABINA SULOVSKY is a health and performance coach for men and women, particularly in professional roles and business owners. And I've been doing that for a while. And the reason why I do that is because I think a lot of people, business owners, our health is the very foundation of our empire, our business. So we need, in order to take care of our business, we need to take care of our health and performance. So yes, that's what I do currently.
There is so many commercials. There's so many advertising. There's so many professionals from the government, from all different sectors talking about mental health. There's so many glossy expressions. Are you okay? And list goes on. But the mental health actually related issues, it's actually increasing. I can see. I'm going to read you statistics from the government. It's from the Australian Bureau of Statistics, which is released last year in October. It says 42.9% of people aged 16 to 85 had experienced a mental disorder at some time in their life. 21.5% of people had a 12-month mental disorder, with anxiety being the most common group. Now, tell us what's happening with us humans. What is your take on this one? Because we our lives become a freaking statistics, and I'm tired of this person. I'm tired. So I want people hear this from you. What's happening in our brains and why it's happening?
I think we have a lot of challenges now, more so than what we did, 100 years ago, 200 years ago. We've got a lot more pollutants, we've got a lot more stressors, we've got a lot more pressures on ourselves. But one thing that I think we are not doing is lifestyle, and I think that's where the easiest thing is. I think we've
lifestyle.
got just simple tiny things: sleep, how we eat, how we move. We're basically going against our internal body clocks for most of it, just modern life, right? And we're expecting our body to be high performance. It's like basically having a Lamborghini and driving down the wrong way of the road, or the motorway, and expecting to get somewhere. It's just not going to happen. So I think what we're doing is we're working against ourselves and expecting something different. So yes, I think there's lots of pollutants. Our lifestyle, we're not sleeping, we're not eating the right foods. So our body's in a state of constant stress. Then put onto that the pressures of life.
Yes.
And it's not a good mix.
You are working more predominantly with the men.
Correct. Yes.
If I say that women are stronger than men mentally, would you agree with me? I will say yes. Case closed. I will say yes.
I think we are designed genetically
That's
differently.
Correct. Yes.
You're a guy, I'm a woman, and I was born, I was created with resilience to have 2 children and to be able to manage things in a very different level than what you are or my husband.
Yeah.
It's just a role, and I am strong, but you're also stronger in different senses. So I don't want to.
No, that's a cool.
But,
You know, I always say this because today I'm talking to you. You're the female expert, right? When I'm surrounded with a man, everybody try to bring this alpha male out, and I always say this one thing, and I learned this very early in my life. When I was 18 years old, I was in a war, and I was surrounded with the average Joe man, right? You know, I mean, not the alpha male. Alpha male, they hold mommy's undies, wipe hands, you know, and they run away, like literally. But one thing during the war, you know, I can say we were fighting the war, but in reality, man is not a hunter. If man needs to give the birth, I think we'll all run away, honestly. And I discussed this so many times, I say, like, you know, dear Lord, if I need to give the birth, I think I will, you know, because when, you know, I saw my son when he was born, I was like, God, how did this come out, right? But the thing it is, I will say on your behalf if you don't want it, but I truly believe that women are more stronger than men. And I saw this many times in my life. Woman gives the birth, woman works for the family, looks after kids, still working, while us men, we're a little bit different. We think we own the world, but we don't. And I say that women are stronger than men. However, man is a protector. So that way we are stronger in that aspect physically. So what's the most common health issues faced by men today? You mentioned no sleep, you know, pollution.
Well, I actually, I was looking back at my notes, and mental health is something that most people struggle with. A lot of men struggle with. But I don't think they have a platform or they have the necessary safety to come out and have somewhere to discuss it. So I think that's definitely one of them. And also is, I think, energy. Men, and this sort of ties in with the mental health as well, they've got a lot of pressure on them, right? You know, some men are the main breadwinners, and they've got that added pressure. So the energy as well is something that a lot of people are struggling with. They don't know what they're doing wrong, and they're trying to keep going. But so I'd say basically, and also testosterone. Testosterone is what makes a man a man.
That's correct, yes.
And, you know, we have it in us, women have it in us. And I call on my testosterone at certain times, you know, I'm in the gym and I'm going hard. But then, you know, testosterone is very, very important in terms of motivation, making decisions, and mental health. And what happens is some people, because they're not taking care of their body as they should do, estrogen can take over a little bit. Mm-hmm. And when a man is being internally biochemically being changed a little bit because he's got higher estrogen levels, then he's not. I'm not really answering your question, am I? I'm sorry.
Yes, you do. You know you do, but because you see, people don't know this stuff. You know what I mean?
So basically, one of the things that I work on a lot is when people have when we gain weight, that becomes a bioactive panel of fat, and what it does is it produces estrogen, and estrogen and testosterone they play a balance.
Okay.
So what happens is the balance is whacked, the balance is knocked, because if someone's carrying around extra weight, and there's estrogen being produced by this extra pad of fat, then the testosterone gets knocked out. Oh. And then what happens is, you know, men don't feel the same as what they would do, and then the mental health comes.
Okay.
As well as the energy.
Yes.
Because what makes your energy is very different from me because of the amount of testosterone you have in your body. So I think there's a lot there with the testosterone.
Look, I was doing my medical for the boxing 2 months ago. Anyway, so you know, my doctor, she's great, Dr. Miranda, and she always says to us, "Listen, I need to check this, I need to check that. You know, everything is okay. Blah blah blah. You know, I'm 52 years old. I have no pills, nothing. You know, I mean, I myself, you know, I keep myself in a way I am. I would say healthy, right? And then she says to me, look at your testosterone, it's like through the roof. I said like, yeah, well, should I take it some more or something? She says to me, no, it's like for men your age, right? That's very
That's
high.
great, yeah.
I said like, I heard about this testosterone replacement therapy, TRT.
Oh,
And it's,
yeah.
And I said to her, like, what's happened with that one? She said, look, that's a good on a short run because most of men, they enhance the muscles, they grow and everything else in a later stage in life, but it's a very bad for the cardiovascular diseases, because it's actually creating the veins
stress.
become hard and all these things, right? But we men, as I said to the beginning, we are stronger physically. We are the fighters, and we will protect whatever we love. But that's everything stops. That's where our role stops. Well, I think once when the men start finish reproduction, I think it's laid back and everything else. Honestly, I've seen this around me, but I'm seeing a lot of men actually that suffering in silence, and I don't know why they're suffering in silence. And I saw many people sitting where you sitting and interviewed them. They come with this thing that they feel rejected by life and they feel not good enough. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. I think we've all, men and women have their demons of not feeling good enough. I certainly have. But I think there needs to be some support and some acceptance. And what I'm trying to do is sort of create a bit of a movement where it is acceptable. We change the conversation so that when my kids grow up, my two boys, that mental health is actually spoken about, because a lot of the shame of mental health is because it's inside. The minute we get rid of it, or we find some kind of, and it's not about shouting to rooftops, but it's about finding somewhere that you can actually take strategically, like properly work through it, then I think we'll have a little bit more, people will feel better. And also, just by somebody saying that they not feeling good enough is something that I felt. And I'm, say some men do that when men are standing up and saying that actually that's normal.
Can I ask a question? So you as an expert, how, but the man comes to you, right? Yeah. First of all, any man, I think that any man is difficult to talk to anybody, particularly woman, right? So I'm gonna say this. I have a good friend of mine, Dr. Debbie Colos. She's a forensic psychologist, a psychiatrist. Anyway, long story short, and she's like, when we talk as a friends, we are okay. But when she asked me some questions, I said, like, Debbie, don't go to that party. I don't want to talk about this with you. She says, I said, I don't want to talk, because something's shifting me. Like, I think it's like embarrassment, or I don't want to share that thoughts. Of course, she's not stupid. She's an educated woman like you, and she knows the stuff. But how do you encourage men to open themselves to talk to you, or any man? How would you encourage them to talk about their mental problems?
I think men and women, but have to realize that there's a cost to everything.
Cost, okay.
So there's a cost to keeping it inside.
Okay.
And that cost is, why cardiovascular issues in men are so high, why, suicide rates, all those things, is there's a cost. Because once you hold it inside, it can eat away at you.
Okay.
So, how would I say to...
How the man can come to you, so what would you say any man, because I saw the people sitting opposite me here. I have a last week example, somebody who I appreciate and respect so much. And he said, I was literally on a verge, he said in an interview, I bought sleeping pills, and I was just doing the last video for my kids. And then something happened to him while he was doing video. He called a suicide prevention helpline, whatever they call it, suicide prevention. And they said to him, stay online, on hold. I was like, what did you say? On hold? I said, okay, I understand they're overwhelmed, but you don't need then you don't take a phone call, because, this is even worse. And then the voice says to him, go online on our website, talk to the bot, to the robot. And we laughed here. I said, that cannot be. But he told me that he was carrying depression inside of him for so long that actually was, when the tipping point happened, everything just collapsed, right? Literally. So what would you say anybody, including men, mostly men, because talk to you about men's health, what would you give your advice to open themselves? Or how would you encourage them to talk about their problems? Obviously, they don't go out to McDonald's and say, I have problems.
First of all, awareness that you have a problem.
Yeah.
I think a lot of men pretend or are in denial, and women, but let's talk about men. And then actually seek somebody to help you, like actually ask. Ask. I think asking doesn't make you any less of a man, 100%. Okay, yeah. In fact, in my eyes, and I can just say that from my point of view, it actually makes you more of a man, to be honest. I think asking for help.
Yes. That is the answer I wanted to hear. That man is not a less man if he says, I have the problem. Nobody said that. Thank you. Seriously, thank you.
I think particularly as well is like you have to, and it's not about you. It's not just about, especially if you're a parent, right? And I think that's the biggest change. I've had my own shit. Am I allowed to say shit?
I like you say, yes.
I mean, I have had my own shit. I was, severely depressed. I had lots of eating issues. But it all changed for me when I became a parent. Like, that's when everything changed. I no longer had this hate affair with myself because I realised it's no longer about Sabina. It's now about my two boys. And then that became my superpower. I'm getting goosebumps. It became my superpower. It's like, for my boys, I will do anything. And if it means actually starting to love myself or asking for help, which I did a lot, and I continue to do, is that then I'll do it. Because if my boys see me asking for help, when they get older, I'm getting goosebumps again, yeah. They will feel as though they can ask themselves. And it's not foreign. So I think men, I don't know if it's the right word to say, if you
everything's right here.
If you can say duty, and I don't know if that's...
It is. No, I'm serious. Eh? I'm not joking. Like, you have more balls. I'm serious to you, Sabina, to say those things. Because everybody putting under the carpet. I'm saying this to you. Like, when I was in military, everything has a compartment. Life, marriage, health, everything else. But above all, it's you're fit and capable to serve your country. That was all our task, daily task, you know what I mean? Nothing else is important. Do not open drawer, you know what I mean, about my family. Do not open drawer about this one, because once when you open this, we knew it. You go to see the doctor in Garrison and said, yeah, you have problems here. I think you should get some pills, because as soon as you get the pills, you can't carry the weapon anymore. That's it. And we always, I always try to portray myself, hold myself. You don't have the time to fall apart, because when you fall apart, you know that those are yours. So now, me talking about 21st century, like, talking about last century, in the 1990s when I was in the military, you have more balls to say these things. And it is the man duty. The man duty is to exist, not to exist, but to live the life. If you want to exist, well, that's a different story. But you said this very well. The main duty is to live the life.
And they have to be a role model.
Please share with us, Sam.
Well, if you're a parent, even if you're not a parent, mm-hmm. somebody's still watching you. And I know I go back to my kids, yes. But kids, they will not maybe listen to what you say, but they'll listen, they'll watch what you do. Mm-hmm. And if you are asking for help, if you are having the confidence to, even if you can't push yourself to do it for them, because when they see that, they won't be in the same position. You're progressing humanity. You're changing the conversation yourself. So for me, for example, is that when I don't have motivation, I think about my kids. If they see that I can push through, and men, men are some amazing fathers I know. When your kids see you push through and ask for help, they feel like, if dad does it, because a lot of dads are my dad is the most amazing man I've ever met, as is my husband.
Yeah.
But like I thought he could do anything. A lot of other kids, do. They think their dad's Superman. Be Superman. Be Superman. Change the conversation and just take the step of going out there and saying, yeah, okay, look, I'm not okay. And it doesn't have to be there's lots of different, it's opening up now. There's lots of different things opening up from, it can be doctors, it can be coaches, it can be a personal trainer, it can be people like me. And there's lots of different things that are open out there. So take advantage. And if you can't do it for yourself, do it for your kids, do it for your next door neighbours, do it for your nephew and nieces. Do it for them.
I think that this is going to be the answer with everybody seek that. And I say like, look, I wasn't born this way today. I remember I had my demons, particularly 2009 when the GFC hit. We lost the home, we lost everything. My son was diagnosed with the epilepsy. My marriage was going down, and everything was just gone away. And instead of me grasping the problem and try to seek solution for the issues, I blame the world. I blame you. Before even I met you, I blame everybody. Everybody else was fault except my fault. Till the one day I always come back to this one. I don't even know this guy. His name is Paul Hanna. So I work in a library. I never went in a library in my life, honestly.
Wow.
I never go in a library. I barely finished high school, military high school. And, war started and, we went into war and everything was just natural progress. So I know I disregard education and, I always think that's a stupid thing and to do. Anyway, I went in the library. For some reason, book appeared in front of me called You Can Do It. His name is Paul Hanna. And I always come to this guy. He's Aussie. And I read it. And he said it so very well in that book, explain about our issues and why we don't achieve goals. He doesn't talk about this, close your eyes and, no. You need to tackle your problems. And then I realized I let my family goes into drain, literally. My son was become just, very ill. And then I realized that I need to fight every single step in my life. But my son was helping me. That's what I was like. You're absolutely right. Yes. Because I remember clearly we went one afternoon, St. Mary's Cathedral, winter time like now, and there was that ice skating rink.
Yeah.
And I was like 150 kilos. I couldn't even bend, to tie my shoes. Shoelaces on my shoes. Shoelaces, I was smoking heavily, drinking. And my son says to me, Dad, there is some type of the boxing day, right? Corporal fight, I call. It doesn't exist anymore. He said, why don't you enroll the fighting? You love boxing, and, I want to help you. And that was a turning point, 2000 and, I would say, 10, 11, something like this. And that moment was very, very crucial for me. But you are absolutely right what you say. So I support your statement. Now, let's come back to talking something more tangible, sleep. You mentioned sleep is something we are disregarding, right?
Yeah.
And I truly believe that we maybe had a good sleep before 2020, till the most deadliest virus didn't come across this planet. And there were some very smart people, and this is what I never forgive to government, any government, because they didn't do nothing for people to sleep more and relax. Instead, they kept that tension of the numbers and statistics and everything else, as you know. Why sleep is important for our mental health and overall, how we can sleep more without pills.
So, sleep is hugely important, because when we're sleep deprived, our body perceives that we are stressed. We're being chased by a lion, we're at war, there's a stressor. And so what it does is it starts to shut things down in our body and we can't perform. And one of those things is our intelligence, right? So when we are sleep deprived, everything takes a hit because we become in survival mode. Sleep, you want to have about 7 to 8 hours of sleep. But one particular type of sleep is deep sleep that a lot of people don't have, and they have it in very small, minute parts. And what's interesting about deep sleep is that there's a part of your body, there's a system in your brain called the glymphatic system. And the glymphatic system, the job of the glymphatic system is basically to clean your brain. And what it does is it cleans your brain and it washes away all the, biochemical byproducts from thinking, from processing. And it does that in a series of jets. There's channels, and this is backed by neuroscience. And it does this during deep sleep. The thing is, a lot of people are not falling into deep sleep, and that's about an hour a day. If they're not having deep sleep, then they're failing to activate their glymphatic system, which means they're literally walking around with a dirty brain.
Yeah.
And then again, they're asking themselves to do things, but their brain is in stress, so it can't function because it's carrying around the old material, the old dirt, the old debris from the previous day. So it's like your internal plumbing system for your brain, but that's not working. So that's one thing I think a lot of people need to look at. But the whole sleep, when you're sleep deprived, your body interprets it as some kind of stress. It goes into survival mode, and then it starts to make sacrifices, as your body does. Your body's like the most intelligent computer there is. It will start making sacrifices, and one of those is intelligence. It focuses on survival, and that's what it's going to do. So I think a lot of people don't realise the importance of sleep and what a superpower it can be. Not only just you feel amazing afterwards, but why you feel amazing. You feel amazing because you've got rid of all that crap. Your gut has actually started to heal. So during you sleeping, you go to the loo, right, in the morning. But that's actually like an exfoliation of your gut. Now, if you look at your gut creates about 95% of your serotonin.
Okay. Nice.
So serotonin is the feel-good hormone. It's the same hormone that Prozac and 5-HT stoppers, they all work on serotonin.
We have Prozac inside our cells.
We have, you can say. So Prozac stops.
We'll cover this later.
Well, Prozac stops the pumps, so it's a little bit more convoluted. Yeah. But basically, serotonin, we have our own like lab. We have our own drug cabinet. But we're not optimizing it. We're not tapping the right buttons. So I help people tap the right buttons. And the gut is one of those buttons, is because once you get a good night's sleep and you clean your gut out, that exfoliates. So basically as it goes down the tube, which is like a tube, it cleans everything out. A healthy gut means that you can produce a healthy amount of serotonin.
I just read now, I go into the statistics, of course, and I was looking at Australian statistics about how much deep sleep is normal. It said deep sleep is essential for health and well-being, as you said. Tick. Most adults need around 1.5 to 2 hours of deep sleep per night. Tick. And they said people need to aim for 7 hours of sleep per night. Around 25% of this should be deep sleep. The question I do have for you: why on earth we don't have deep sleep?
We don't have routines in place. So most people have a routine for work, right? They get to work at 9 o'clock, they have a meeting, they do all those things. But for sleep, a lot of people don't have a strict sleep routine, and they call it like sleep hygiene. I'm not sure about that word, but basically be strategic about sleep. And having a bedtime and a wake-up time so that you can do that, but enforcing rules around it. So one thing is that we're always online, always. We have our Wi-Fi on at night, right? So that's you don't have to be a conspiracy theorist to know that electronic waves going around your head is not going to be great for your sleep, right? So take the phone out of your bedroom. Switch the Wi-Fi off. You're not going to be doing work when you're asleep. So get with the program and put the Wi-Fi off. Turn it back on in the morning when you actually need it. You don't need that. Having, as well as making sure that you get a little bit of light in the day. So basically what I'm saying is you want to have a sleep ritual, sleep routine. And I can go through
Like our mothers
instance.
done when we are babies, like you done to your kids. You know, now it's you
Yeah.
had a meal in bed, right?
Yeah. And it's training, right?
Yeah, it's training,
We
yeah.
do sleep training for babies. But for ourselves, why are we not doing sleep training ourselves? Or we just think that we're adults now and we can go with it? No.
You know, interesting enough, I was overseas now, as you know, and in all this.
Oh my gosh, you look like you had an amazing time.
Thank you, appreciate it. But one thing I said to my doctor said to me, Miranda, said like I don't take the sleeping pills. You know, that's not for me. I said like that's for the other people who really need these things. But because the trip Sydney to Dubai it's 14 hours, like I try to break this sleep. That time was sleeping. So she says to me, look, there's a two type of the pills. One is anxiety, one is shared anxiety, one is for the relaxation and put you sleep. I said, just give me one. She says, there's no one, it's a 30 of them, right? I said, okay. So I took it two because I'm 120 kilos man, and she says, like, listen, after meal, take it two, and and I slept for 6 hours, literally slept, you wake up, it's like a dribble, it goes like, that's the only time when I get the sleeping pills. But I will tell you something what I did not to sleep. And I remember clearly right now, between 91 and 95, there was many days and nights when we go in an ambush behind enemy lines, and we got some type of ecstasy pills, what I'd call it, speed, right? And we don't sleep for 7 days, literally. There's no sleep in 7 days. And you are angry man, right? Literally angry man. Till one day I remember I wake up, and I was vomiting blood. I couldn't move my muscles. Anyway, they rushed me to the hospital, and the doctor says, like, I don't know what you're taking, but your system is full of some, unknown substances. You know what I mean? So it's actually because when you're young, you take more things, and that's what they told us. But government gives you all these things, and you feel invincible. So you're taking, more than was being told because you feel good, right? And I remember I didn't sleep for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days, right? And I remember I couldn't catch up my sleep. So I agree with you how important is the sleep. Now, man has a busy schedule, as you say, like, turn off the phone, do things differently. Dieting, it's our biggest enemy. Would you agree with that one for the men? What role dieting plays in a man's life?
So your body, a man's particularly, but all our bodies work on a circadian rhythm. Mm-hmm. And we have a time when our bodies really wants fuel and a time when it's ready to rest, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like a pyramid. But the thing is, a lot of the time when we are like in modern life and we're busy, is a lot of people, men included, men and women, we have our heaviest meal at night, right? Yeah. And so we put these demands on our body, particularly our gut, and you've just heard about how important it is for our hormones, including dopamine, actually. It produces 50% of our dopamine. So if our gut's not working properly, and if our gut's got demands, then it can't focus on sleep, and it can't start producing dopamine because it's too busy. And our body likes doing one thing at a time, which I'm sure men are quite good at. I'm trying to.
No, you just.
But our brain,
you're the expert. Speak your mind.
Our brain loves doing. Our body. We like to do one thing at a time, mm-hmm. right? And so our body has a choice. Does it digest our food or does it make us sleep? And so if it digests our food.
So if basically what you're saying, like if you have the heavy food at night,
you're not going to sleep because your body's busy.
Busy with what? I want to sleep.
Digesting. Well, it's going to think, right, okay, so you're going to, do I give up, do I digest the food or do I take this guy to sleep? And you're not doing anything 100%. You're basically sacrificing one of the or the other. So I think diet is a lot of people eat too heavy meals at night and they place demands on their digestion system at night. So when they're going to bed, their body's still digesting food.
So can I ask you a question? Let's go speak now frankly and openly about this topic. For 3 years, a part of government telling that everyone's going to die from the COVID, which obviously was not true. Like, I mean, that's number one. But I think something else was killing us. And again, come back to your point, which is say you are spot on about our children. 2 years ago, it's going to be this year in December. I flew with my son overseas. I said to him, "Let's go, show where Daddy was born." He wasn't very much keen. Like for him, it's like Croatia. Like they have no electricity, no water, whatever. Of course, he falls in love there straight away, and hey, like all these dramas for him. I don't want to leave now, right? But one thing he told me before we departed, he says to me, "Stop." It was Twitter about. He said, Twitter makes you sick. And I spent quite a lot of time on Twitter. On Twitter, everybody's dying, everybody's bad, this and that. The news is just terrible. And simultaneously says to me, how about you stop smoking as well now? It's done. I said, Dad, I think it's time
Good
to...
boy. Gosh, he's amazing.
And I'm like, mate, it's like, he studied medicine. It's not that he knows something, you know what I mean? But anyway, long story short, I done it. I no regrets. Right? Stop doing these things. I feel healthier since I stopped watching Twitter daily, like all the time, and smoking. Right after 30 years, I said, okay, it's time to stop. But the fact it is that when we traveling, we eating different type of foods, and now you're telling me that night we should eat something lighter because it's gonna influencing our sleep, our body's going to be busy, and all is going to induce our health. However, my question is that what I want to ask you. For 3 years, people are sitting at home drinking excessive alcohol, eating all this garbage food delivered because delivered food will not infect us, but people, I'll remember, honestly, you're laughing, I remember, Sabina, 2 o'clock in the morning, I will hit a scooter in my street, 3 o'clock in the morning, and food will be delivered on a doorstep. And I think myself, who is eating now 3 o'clock in the morning? And nobody sleeps out. You look into my neighborhood, it's all lights are on like a Christmas tree. So nobody sleeps there. Like everybody's waiting to the doomsday. Now, why nobody talks publicly says, don't eat at night. Don't eat that rubbish at night. Eat something light. Why not? Instead of this, we are encouraged to eat all that crap. And so that's, I say, you're spot on when you say we should not eat that heavy food at night. And I am example. Because I was the one. Oh, there's a little bit deep left over. Hey, Matteo, do you have any cookies?
No more cookies.
Please. Why there nobody in government, people in the industry? Now you're the first one. And it's like, I can't wait to hear from you. Why nobody says, be careful what you eat at night? Because...
Well, I've had this conversation during that time. Like, I was affected by it all, like, mentally a little bit as well. Because, we all were a little bit fucked from that period.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't understand why. And nobody was mentioning lifestyle. Nobody mentioned lifestyle. I don't understand. It's the easiest, cheapest way to educate, empower the next generation. And also, you've got a captive audience, right? You've got all these people that are sat at home with their kids. Parents that never spent time with their kids now have to spend time with their kids.
Yes.
So we've got all that. We should see that as an opportunity to, okay, right, we've got this captive audience. Let's educate them. Let's try and, teach them about how to, supplementation, eating at the right times. Drink, like you said, drinking went just through the roof. No one was exercising. Everyone was just basically Netflix binging. Yeah. No, I don't know why we never had any of that shit. Yeah, I don't know why no one mentioned. I definitely was going on about it. Actually, one of my most successful campaigns was, I can't remember how many it was, but it was about so many survival steps for thriving during COVID, and it was all basically a list of. It's basically a list of people a list of actions that you can do, lifestyle, to help you survive and thrive over COVID. Because we were sort of told that we were just in survival mode, but
we barely existed.
But there's tools out there that if we'd known, or if the average Joe had known, they could have made a little bit like. I see it as an opportunity. If we're 6 months in lockdown, okay, 6 months in lockdown to get yourself in shape. 6 months in lockdown to. There wasn't really. It didn't seem like that was being. We weren't empowered with that knowledge. We were.
But that's like, you know, that's. I think we now in repairing mode. We try to repair what's happened.
Oh shit! Yeah, we are in repairing
but
mode.
we can't. You know, like us. You know, at the day I was last Wednesday. Yeah, last Wednesday. My son has a first graduation. So
I saw. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. You know, has another 3.5 years of university, but he got his first bachelor because it's a part of his medical degree.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so I was the only man in a suit, right? And I was looking around. It's like, why is everybody in tracksuits? Why is people in Japancas? The one thing what I realized with the men become very irresponsible. So there's no anymore that, I don't say everybody needs to wear the suit, but you're coming for your son or your daughter graduation, or maybe your midget, you know what I mean, some mermaid, whatever it is, you know what I mean? But you should put effort. But that's not all. You know, when I go for the meetings in the city, people coming to me in shorts and, you know, the T-shirts and singlets. I'm like, am I living in some parallel world? Which reminds me, do you remember a movie maybe you watch with your kids called the Wall-E? Wall-E?
Oh, Wally. Yeah. Is it like a movie?
Yeah, like a movie, like his little
robot.
Yeah, and then the spaceship, everybody's there.
Yeah.
That's what reminds me. It's like, am I living in a parallel universe? But that was not enough, you know what I mean? So like, when I was in France now, and in France, I mean, my eye was everywhere. Like my blood pressure was, because I felt alive over there. But here in Australia, something badly happened, right? Something bad happened. Germany is the same thing like Australia. People are very placid, very relaxed, you know what I mean? Everything, nobody looks after themselves. So how testosterone plays a role in this, in men's energy, stamina, behavior, lifestyle? We spoke at the beginning, but testosterone is obviously a big driver for the men. Because after all, it's sexuality that comes at the end. You know what I mean? Men should hunt for the woman. Literally hunt, yes. But you can't do this in flip-flops in Japan because I'm seeing like or maybe it's like swipe right, you know. I don't know. So it's a long question, but I was like, you know, what men forgot during the lockdown and you try to improve today, apart maybe testosterone, dieting? What do you see as expert?
I think taking care of yourself. We left a lot of people working from home in their pajamas, and I've consulted with a few people that I've told, you know, they need to get off that because our body responds to cues. If we're in our pajamas, it thinks about sleep. The same as if we're in our bedroom, it probably thinks about, you know, sex or sleep. So the same token, if we're going to work in our pajamas, then we're not on high performance mode because we're in our pajamas. And the same as, I mean, yeah, it has gone. I think there's more barefoot, the barefoot investor, the barefoot wearing shorts and stuff. I don't know. I think it's nice to dress up and nice to.
But you feel better, right? There's expression that's like suit doesn't make the man. But I think it's rubbish. I think it does actually.
Well,
How would you feel if I my speedos now like, you know, it's like.
I love you, but no speedos.
Yeah, like so, like yeah, it's like what's wrong? But thing is, the men are changed. Men are changed. I talk about women, right? Men are changed, and I was like, it's easy to go on the internet, and I'm seeing how some of the men preying on other ones, and look, you can have a body like this, you can have this. Everything what you see online doesn't necessarily mean that suits you in your lifestyle. People need somebody like yourself. So is there any type of screening we can be doing for the men on their mental health? Is there any type of test?
Well, I think one thing that a lot of men and women, all of us really need to, is when I first did my nutrition, one of the things which was completely new to me was that they call it primary food. And primary food is not about what's on your plate. It's actually about what the information that you're being fed. So the information that we are being fed is social media, Instagram, I'm not enough, I need to lose 2 pounds, 2 stone, whatever it might be. We're fed that information. And that's just as important as our food. But we can really, we have got no boundaries around that. Even if you've got a really disciplined diet, then and you haven't got a discipline around the primary food, which is your information, even the relationships they have. If you have toxic people in your life, they impact it. So I think it's having your boundaries around health is not just about what you eat. It's about what you actually expose yourself to. You're fed on food. Information is food. So I don't know if I'm making sense, but basically when people look at news, they're fed fear, right?
Absolutely, I concur. As I say, that was my main driver.
Like I'm sorry, I'm into it. But COVID, everything went to shit. Yeah. But we're constantly looking at these numbers, and there was quite a few people I said to them, look, you've just got to don't watch the news particularly for the first hour of the day, because you're just it's fed. It's food for your brain. It's food for your body, and your body's listening. Everything you do and say, your body listens, right? So if you're feeding your brain with the information of, oh, well, we're going downhill and, all these people are dying and all these things, then that's what your body takes on as a belief system. It starts believing that fear.
So let's just ask you. So, I'm the one, I say, I don't need to go look for references outside of this room. So, I started losing weight and then COVID happened. I wasn't happy with that one because, the first couple months, I saw everybody is walking around my suburb. You know what I mean? Everybody's in the morning. I said to myself, Jesus, there's people preparing for the Olympic Games in marathon, or something. But as time was going on, that interest was fading, right? And there was one moment on Amazon, you can order the equipment, and nothing like this. So I said to myself, okay, that's a part of the lifestyle, but what I can do not to gain the weight, because we had every possible leisure on our disposal. As you said, Netflix binging, food delivery on the door, which is even today, I can't understand, when I see this guy on a motorbike with his dirty hands in that dirty bag, drives all day some food. I mean, come on, man, seriously. But then I said to myself, I need to start taking off my plate, I call the plate, or Netflix, or smoking, whatever it is. And I needed to do this quickly because I saw I'm going wrong direction, because I'm comfortable in my undies, and undies doesn't know the weight. But the moment I need to wear the trousers, oh my water. I wasn't happy with that one. But nobody on TV didn't say, guys, you need to start looking after your health. Instead, this health was forbidden. And you're right, fear was being fed to us. And, I'm starving for healthy, fresh air, the sunlight and everything else. Lucky for us, I was in Sydney. You were in Sydney, right?
Yeah.
We're not in Melbourne. Can you imagine that prison over there? When you have the, government official talking about health. But the thing is, men are changed. Dieting is changed. Behavior is changed, which is reflecting, obviously, relationships, the sexual life, and everything else. But when you do when we talk about screening men, when they come to you, do they fill some type of form, or they're doing something online? How do you test them, what their mental health is?
Yeah, so the first step is they fill in a health history, and unlike some professionals, health professionals, mine's really intensive.
And that's how I like it. How about you? No, yeah, sorry.
But it's intensive for a reason, because there's and it's I even apologise before I send it out, because
why apologies?
Apologies because it takes time, right? But what I'm providing for people is not a quick fix. It's for them to empower themselves and their families. This is for everybody, with a long-term solution. So I need to get to grips with basically what's happened in the past.
Yes.
So if you've had trauma in your past, I want to know about it. If you've had all those issues, so that I can look and make a more objective point of view.
Yes.
Because even though most people know, or some people have an idea of what they're eating or whatever, they can't always pinpoint where the challenges are. And then I look at, we have a ring of different things, like mental health. Is it mental health they need to improve? Is it their energy? And we identify what they need the most work on. So for a lot of people, it can be mental health, it can be gut health. But mental health can be, like I said before, can be just corrected, a lot of it, with looking at what you're eating, how you're eating, and making sure that your gut is functioning properly. So we have a history, and then we have a meeting, which, again, is comprehensive. But I want to get to know the real person. And yes, some of the stuff is a little bit more personal. Yeah. But it's a confidential, safe space, zero judgment. I have my own, but I think that gives someone the space to actually vent it, and even just allowing them to actually talk about it gives them a little bit of solace.
I think that's a biggest actually help anybody can get, and that is to somebody talk to somebody. I think that people actually want to be heard. Not just be spoken, but to be heard. There is a tragedy. When you speak about, what did you say, safe space with you, right?
Yeah.
I was watching recently the documentary on a TV about Ashley Madison, you know that one?
Oh, gosh, I've watched it too.
Yeah, they said safe space, and they fake it, everything. There's never security on
There was
the
never
data.
a safe space.
Yeah, there was also a safe space. But with you, it's a different. So I want you guys to know, when you talk to Sabina, you are safe. You can share your data, you can share information. Look, it's difficult, it's hard, and I'm saying this as a man. It's also going to be difficult and hard to admit that you're not good enough. And we are driven. As I said, like when you, let's just say, yesterday I was doing my sparring with my coach. Boxing is not the type of the gym where it's like 50 people doing simultaneously the same thing. So two guys in the ring and that's it. Other people watching or some training. But I know that when we talk, he says to me, I'm losing more and more fighters. And I say, I don't understand what it is. He said, but it's like an easy part. Because there is no need to fight anymore, because now everything is accessible. Makes sense? I just spoke now. You want a partner, swipe left, swipe right. Okay? So, Tinder, whatever it is called, right? You want to eat something there. You don't need to go in the shops anymore. You just go on online and you buy stuff, So everything is like not worth it. And that's why I'm worrying about society as a society.
Well, what happens what happens in the future? We've got ChatGPT, we've got all this AI stuff, right? And we're doing AI for our bodies, right? For ourselves, right? We're outsourcing the whole mating thing. And what happens if in 50 years' time that all goes to shit and we have no tools?
It will go. Look, it will go.
We'll have no tools on how to do it.
Yeah, it will go. I think that's the biggest enemy of society, right? It's pen and paper. I spoke with some of my counterparts in Berlin when we done the big public speaking. I was a big public speaking about espionage. At the one moment I literally said to these people from particular countries, say like, please do not lecture me, because your higher education, it's a coloring book from McDonald's. So do not even attempt to challenge me. And I said, do not. Because I said, like, what's the capital city of Germany? He didn't even know, and he was in the capital city of the Germany, Berlin. And I'm like, you see? So people believe everything was coming, I would say, from the United States. How would you agree with all these gurus from over there coming and saying what we should do? That's a personal question. Deep breath. Okay.
I don't know enough about it, Mario. You'll have to educate me.
Yeah, I don't want to educate you because
I don't know about the gurus coming over from there. I'm very limited about what as I said, I think information's food, and some food is junk.
But you know what I say? Like, I saw interrupt you now. You know why I like it? You come today with me. I will never talk to a person here who is talking from cloud computing, theory. Mm-hmm. I don't expect theory. Theory is good for the people who are not educated. And I'm not sorry to say this one. You'll have the people who are just telling you what to do, go for them. I'm more
You
the
have
guy.
to challenge it.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, I'm the guy who, in military we learn the theory, but then instructor will say, now we're going out and what we learn in theory into practice. So it's how to do it. And you are saying today how to do it. So guys, I'm going to put in the comment section, Sabina, details. You're going to learn how to manage your life on better, not just to hear the theory. If you like a theory, there's a plenty of gurus there from the United States. They have a great podcast over there. They're going to tell you. They're great orators. They're smacking their hand and whatever. I love you are here today. I'm going to read you some statistics here. It says every day 6 Australians die by suicide. 75% of those who take their own lives are male. What do you think about male suicide? What's happening that one? Why male suicide in Australia is 75%? He says yearly estimate figure it's 65,000. It's between age. Suicide is a leading cause of the death for Australians between age 15 and 44. It's very young. Is that because nobody listens to them? Is that maybe food, something related to food? Gym? I don't know. Sleep, TV, news.
I think our media's got a lot
Yeah, I agree with you. Yes.
to do with it. Like I said, it's food for our brain. And the pressures as well is what... I mean, there is societal pressures on men. But then also it's like this swipe left, swipe right is... When I grew up, there was no... I don't think there was internet when I grew up.
Yeah, like that's...
But, like now it's you're looking at a filtered photograph. I used to compare myself to other girls, but you're looking at filtered photograph and comparing yourself to a filtered photograph that actually doesn't exist. And then you're making, oh, well, I'm not good enough because I don't fit that filter. So I think there's the information overload. We've got all this information of different things and we're comparing ourselves constantly and we're seeing it everywhere. We're getting all these messages. You open up Facebook, which I try not to do, and the minute I go on there to do one thing, I've got 5 different messages on there.
Look, I agree that.
Subconsciously, we're getting all these different messages. I watched an interesting movie the other day. I forgot what it was called, actually. It was on Netflix, but it was about being primed and subconsciously primed. So, we are subconsciously primed all the time.
Yeah.
So we have to be aware of that.
Yes.
Do we actually is that priming actually serving us or is it not? And I think a lot of the priming from social media and things like that is not serving us very well. It's putting us into comparison mode. We're not good enough. We're not earning enough. We're not doing this. So I think men feel that pressure. I don't think as well as men have the same access to, like, this is Men's Health Month, and this is why, it's something that's really, like, this is why I'm opening up more about it. But Men's Health Month, we've got 1 month, and I actually have spoken to quite a few gyms about it. They didn't even know it existed. So I think what I'm saying...
Isn't that interesting, eh?
Well, it should be. This is Men's Health Month, right? And I'm talking to people, and they don't know anything about it. I think we have a obligation, or our governments have an obligation to educate people that Men's Health Month, let's raise the awareness. We're not going to raise the awareness if nobody fucking knows about it. Well,
look, as I said, like at the beginning of the show, guys, and that's what I said to thank you for watching Life the Battlefield, because it's like, we're tackling the world biggest challenges of the life, and there's all victories. And today it's a victorious because you're going to learn something new, what nobody didn't told you before. And that is what Sabine mentioned, sleep, you're dieting. I know you're going to say, I heard. No, but you're hearing that now from professional, not from TV. Because otherwise we're going to become statistics. And I hate this, So like I'm 52 years old, and I always say to myself, I don't understand that for 52 years, and I was living in communism, good portion of my life, we have one channel, it was always about these statistics. Always, it's going to be better tomorrow. It's going to be this. It's going to be every war starting somewhere. Nuclear holocaust, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. For 52 years, I'm listening same things in different packaging and different presenters, right? And then I realized myself, these people just doing the job because that's what they're enjoying. I mean, sharing the spreading the fear, whatever it is. nothing's happening. But what's happening is our health is deteriorating rapidly. And that is a problem because, for example, I was visiting one country and the gentleman who works there, he says that now the national point for the diabetes was, I think, 6.5. So they drop it to 5.5. So the more insulin need to be sold, right? He says suddenly overnight we have 200,000 more diabetics in country. I said to myself, so even that was a lie, 6.5. But that's what it is. But you're here to help us, including myself. And you have the program called the Body Reset.
The Body Reset.
Reset.
Yes.
Okay, so how we can reset our body?
So it's there's 3 core elements, and unlike most diet plans, it's not just about the food. So a lot of people are professionals, business owners. They work like athletes, and they're not fueling their body like an athlete, right? Mm-hmm. And so I hope to give them tools to optimize and start to learn, not like an athlete, but more or less, because they have all these high demands. So we work on intelligent nutrition or performance nutrition, so they're performing well. And that comes down to timing, like how often to eat, when to eat, like that's so important. And how to actually eat. A lot of people are actually eating while they're watching TV. Well,
true, I agree with you.
And or watching their phone, right? There's so many people that eat lunch and they're watching their phone at the same time. No. When is your body getting a break to actually digest the food? It's got 2 things. You're telling it you want it to look at the information, and you're telling it you want it to eat, digest food. And then you're saying you've got a weight problem. You are not telling your body what you want to do. Your body loves clear instructions, and you're not giving them. Yeah. So that's the food element. And we work basically with your metabolism and your gut for that to heal. The second arm would be intelligent movements or strategic movement. Yeah. And that's by just working smarter rather than harder. You can do 35 minutes or 40 minutes in the gym, and that can just be just as good if you do it at the right time and the right exercises than if you do it at night. So you can actually get an exercise, if you're doing something such as interval training or you're doing weights, that exercise can be as intensive it can help you increase your performance at work and at home because you're increasing your blood rate for the whole day. As opposed to if you did it at night, well, you're increasing your heart rate. And then what happens a lot of the time is you then go to sleep, or you try to go to sleep 3 hours later. But your heart rate is still elevated from 3 hours ago. So we teach people when to actually do the exercise, and then and use that to your advantage.
That's interesting. Yeah, you see, that's
because when you're exercising, you get an increased amount of oxygenated blood and nutritious rich blood to your brain. That's fuel. That means that you're going to have better cognition, you're going to be able to make better decisions, and for the whole day. So if you do your exercise as soon as you wake up, then for the next 10 or 12 hours, you're going to be performing at a much different level than what you would be if you exercised at, say, lunchtime or afterwards. So by working with that biochemistry, with that circadian rhythm, with your bio cycles, you don't have to work really hard. But you just learn how to do it with the framework. It's just a very simple framework. And then we do mind management. So that comes down to sleep as well. And I teach you how to sleep and when to sleep and actually how to prepare your body for sleep. Your body needs a prep. You can't just sort of watch TV.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay, that's a new one. Okay, yeah, please continue. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting, a lot of people, we go home and like the traditional routine is we go and watch TV, and then we
turn TV off and then go to bed.
Yeah. So hang on, right? So you're just telling your brain, watch this program or film, and I want you to find out, start the intricacies and start your brain working, and with all this blue light, and you're stimulating it, or you're working at night, right? And then an hour later you say, or half an hour later you say, okay, right, turn the blue light off. And I want you to start monitoring your melatonin, and I want you to start going to sleep. Hang on, which one do you want it to do? You want it to stimulate and start solving your problems, or you want it to go to bed? We're sending mixed messages. Which one do you want it to do? You're sending mixed messages when you're reading your phone, you're eating your lunch. You're telling it to digest the information on the phone. You're trying to digest.
Okay, can you give us a small, tiny tip? So you're saying to us, after watching TV, what we should do? Just relax a little bit and...
You need to turn the TV off an hour before bed, or screens before bed at least.
What am I going to do 1 hour before?
Okay, so this is called
That's
life.
okay. That's
this is called
that's
life.
Counting. So how long is taking that? So how long take it to body reset with you? Body reset with you?
6 weeks.
6 weeks. Okay.
6 weeks, you get 12 weeks of unlimited access to me and my team. And I think this is where really, you know, most people have got to this stage of their life from years, decades of programming their mind and their body around food. And
Yes.
what we do is we start giving you the tools to unprogram that and reprogram it so that it works for you. Because most people 40 years ago didn't know about food, what we know now.
That's
Didn't
true,
know about
that's true.
cycles, right? Gut health didn't even exist.
Yeah.
When I was doing university, didn't even touch on gut health. Now it's massive. So we think science knows everything, but they don't.
They don't.
It's still emerging. So just, anyway, that's another topic.
But that's look. I'm gonna put in comment section below how you can reach Sabina. But her website is SABINA SULOVSKY with VSKY at the end.com.
And even just call for a chat. I offer a free health audit, and that's completely free, obligation free. I don't do any hard sell or anything like that. My mission is to help people. And then, you know, I can identify a few points that you can go home and work on, and give you a little bit of a...
Before we wind up, I just want to share something with you, with all our listeners, guys, why you should call Sabina. Apologies, not Sabina. I took some statistics from Australian Institute of the Health and Welfare, and they say 42.7 million mental health related medications has been issued to Australians. 4.5 million patients, almost 20% of Australians, are getting the drugs, which is mental health related medications, with average 9.4 prescription per patient. That's a lot. And mostly they come from Victoria, of course, where else? Say 73.1% of mental health related prescriptions filled were antidepressants. And I never took antidepressants. I never took any pills to calm down. It was difficult. It was many challenging things, but I have a clear purpose and objective in my life. I wish I met you before. I think that my cycle will be much more shorter. But that being said, I'm very thankful that you shared today your insights on the men's health and mental health as well.
And if I could just share one lasting thing, is that if somebody out there, if somebody does have a child that looks up to them, male or female, but is if you're questioning whether you want to get help, take yourself out of the equation and ask what would that child need if they were in your position. So if you were giving advice,
Yes.
and then take the advice. Because what does need to happen? What do they need to see? What does that child need to see? What does my son need to see so that they can prevent this from happening in their life? And I think by questioning it like that, by having every time if you are struggling and you're wanting to ask for help, is it serving your child by you not asking for help?
Thank you, Sabina. That is a very, very, very true what you said. And that's why many people don't see that way. We're seeing ourselves because we're selfish. We are selfish. And that's like, I'm thankful that I have you today in the studio, because it's easy to sit behind the screen and seeking the help on typing on a YouTube or social media. I'm depressed, what to do. One thing, as I say, I'll always look into you than somebody else, because not because of your expertise, but because you know how to do things, rather than just mumbo-jumboing and talking about theory. Everybody's a big mouth. Ladies and gentlemen, SABINASULOVSKY.com. I'm going to put the comment section below how you can contact her. So thank you to all of you risk takers and truth seekers, to you all wonderful souls, to all subscribers and followers of the Life the Battlefield. Thank you for giving me the opportunity today to talk to this amazing expert, Sabina Sulovsky. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marianne.